Alright, what is going on everyone on YouTube? Griffin here coming back to you guys with round 2 of this live stream from the Millennial Motivation Entrepreneur YouTube channel. First and foremost, if you're new to the channel, definitely consider hitting the subscribe button below and hitting that bell icon. That way you'll be notified every time we go live or upload another video for you guys. And when I say round 2, that's because we actually already did the stream once for about 45 minutes. But apparently my mic was like muted for some reason. I don't know how that happened, but yeah, so we're doing round 2 of this whole stream, just talking about micro E-mini futures, specifically the micro E-mini S&P 500, and how I will be finally trading with my actual real money instead of paper trading. I'll give you an update on the paper trading and whatnot as well. But I'm going to be finally using my own money starting tomorrow. I put the funds in the account Sunday night, but they didn't go through today. But they told me, Tastyworks told me that those funds will be available tomorrow. And by the way, we have a Discord group chat. If you don't know what Discord is, it's a totally free platform where a bunch of like-minded people can get on there and chat. We have 100 of us in there now. So if you're not already in there, it's in the description box. Totally, like I said, free to join and whatnot. And I think a lot of you guys will enjoy that. And if you have any questions or anything throughout the stream, feel free to shoot it out there in the chat. That is what it is here for at the end of the day. But again, just waiting overall for my funds to go into the account. We will be using Tastyworks. I kind of want to show you guys just how this works overall. So say you wanted to send a buy. I would not be buying quite yet, but say you wanted to. It won't let me. It won't even let me see the actual price of the order. So that sucks. I might want to do that specific video on my phone. But I just wanted to show you guys kind of how it works on Tastyworks. It wouldn't let me like show what the total price would be of the trade. But Tastyworks has by far the best, like, so we're actually coming down to $28.75, and I'll talk about why this is a critical area in just a second. But Tastyworks has by far the best rates when it comes to commissions and whatnot. There's a link, I think, maybe in the description box that lays out all their fees and whatnot if you're interested in checking them out. If not, no big deal. I don't like really get a kickback or anything. They give me like a credit, but there's like no legit way of redeeming those credits. So it's just for you all to see why I use them and why I always suggest them, especially when it comes to trading futures, because TD Ameritrade charges way too much. Like for TD Ameritrade, I think it's like $2.25 minimum, something like that. Might even be more. Tastyworks, it's like $1 essentially. Right around $1.37, something like that. So you're talking a 50% plus difference, which adds up a lot as a day trader. But to dive right into these actual micro E-mini futures, I'm watching the 28.75 level. While I was saying this on mute, I wish you guys had been able to hear that, but I think this 28.75 level is going to be where we kind of fill the gap. That's why I have an alert set here, but you can see overall we popped up at the end of the day. Very encouraging sign. However, we did get rejected again at 28.80. Not surprised. I mean, we only tested it I think once throughout the day. Today we popped up all the way to almost 28.90 actually, but we hovered right around 28.75 most of the day. We popped up over 28.80. We need to fill the gap to 28.75. If we bounce off of it, it would be an amazing time to hop in. My target sell at that point would be right around 28.90. That's a 15-point move to the upside. 15 points times $5 per point, of course. That is $75 of profit off of a $695 trade, roughly. You're talking 11% profit, which is not bad. And not to mention $75 to $75 if you're doing this like me, just as some extra income to put into investments longer term, then you'll take that any day of the week. And we're talking a quick scalp trade there. I mean, something that would probably happen overnight, and then you could hop back in the market at any point, of course. Or if you're long the market, you think we're going to test 2,900. I don't think, honestly, I want to think we will, but for some reason my gut's telling me we're not. But if you think we're going to test 2,500, then by all means feel free to hold it. And if it pays off for you, then you're talking $125 of profit, which is going to be like 30% or something like that. Or not quite. Math was off apparently. About 18% profit. So just depends on your trading style and whatnot. But It's taking a sweet time. We got down to about 28.75, 25, 28.75, 50 a couple times here. It's just evening trading, of course. Not a whole lot of volume really going on currently. But I do look for us to test right around that 28.74, 28.75. If we bounce off of that, it's a good time to hop in for a little short-term ride and make a quick little 75 bucks, maybe even 100, depending on where you get in. But when it got up over 28.80 again, it was a good time to short. I didn't short personally in my paper trading account. I haven't really done anything the last day or two other than close a long position that I had. I closed that first thing this morning for a little over $300 of profit, which brings me to my next point. I wanted to show you guys just the overall profit now. We are now up over $6,176 year to date. And most of that, of course, has come within the last month or two. We really started trading these micro mini futures more seriously around the end of June, early July, going into August. So about the last 2 months, essentially, 2.5 months, we've been trading these really hard. So, I mean, we're doing pretty good. So I'm feeling very good about going in using my own money. For those of you that don't know, I'm literally putting in only enough money to use one contract at a time. So I definitely want to make it worthwhile. In the coming couple months, I'll probably put in enough money to trade 2 contracts, because I notice a lot of times I tend to get in not too early necessarily, but I like to get in usually as, like, say I saw this going up, I would probably short right here, which of course it's hard to figure out the exact peak, of course, right? But I would have shorted like right here, for example, because heavy overbought, of course. And then if I had room to buy another contract, and when it continued on up and we retested 28.82, and then I saw it's kind of leveling out over here, I would have went ahead and bought another contract, right? Averaged up my position, and then of course we'd be up good money right now. I probably would have sold somewhere right down here, made a good, I don't know, our average buy cost, for example, would have been, say, 28.81. Or probably closer to 28. Yeah, 28.81 would be our average buy cost. Our sell would have been right around 28.77. So I mean, not huge. You're talking roughly 5 points, but you get what I'm saying. It's just better to do 2 contracts a lot of the time, at least just from what I've noticed. But it'll be fun. It'll be interesting to see kind of how this all plays out. I'm not going for like big home runs or anything. I'm just looking for the most part, like 5 to 10, maybe 15 point moves. Like I mentioned to you guys here, if we bounce at 28.75 here before long, which I think we're definitely coming down to it any minute now, hopefully during the stream. But if we bounce off of that 28.74, 28.75 range, we're definitely going to have room to jump up probably again to at least at the minimum retest 28.84. But I truthfully think 28.90, which you're talking again 10 to 15 point move, which is $50 to $75, which is not bad on a $695 investment if you ask me. So I'm just going to check and make sure again that our stream is doing all right. We got 3 of you tuning in. That's awesome. Like I said, if you guys have any questions or anything like that, definitely feel free to shoot it in the chat. That is what it is there for at the end of the day. And if you're new, like I said, hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you here, of course. So we keep flirting with 28.75. Let's see if we can actually test it and break it here, possibly within the next minute or two. And we're also going to break, I did this in the stream when it was muted, so I'll do it all over again for you guys. We're going to take a look at natural gas briefly, because we have totally abandoned it over the last couple months, and I think it's a very interesting time for natural gas and oil as well here in just a minute. I mean, I guess we can do it now. I have my alert set anyways. So we'll go check out natural gas first. Natural gas has actually come back a little bit here. Not really, hasn't really moved a whole lot after hours. Still down about 0.2%, but overall, what I'm liking, especially on our 20-day chart, you can see we're trying to slowly but surely come back up to 230, but I'm thinking longer term, going out to the 1-year chart, we're getting close to the time where natural gas prices just naturally pop back up. Am I thinking we're going to go back to 4 or anything like that? Honestly, no. I'm thinking more like a fill the gap somewhere around like 270 to 280, somewhere in that range. Some people are being hopeful and thinking 3 again. I'm thinking somewhere between that 270 to 280 range, maybe even 290. But think about it. If you got in natural gas, say around 220, and you sold it for around, say, 281, that's a 20 to 30% move to the upside. Now, we're not buying natural gas here. We would actually go over to UGas, which has actually been up as of late. I would not buy UGas here. Where I would actually try to get UGas is somewhere down right around $12 to $13. So you're talking pretty much giving up everything that it just gained today. 10% move. I mean, that's on sale. You can see slightly overbought on the hourly chart, due to come back down tomorrow more than likely. So I think you'll definitely be able to get this for 13. I think 13 is a good price because, like I said, overall, I think natural gas is going to move at least 20% to the upside minimum in the coming probably 2-3 months. And with these 3X ETNs and ETFs, what's going to happen? If natural gas moves, say, 20%, you can expect UGas to go up roughly 60%, give or take, like 3 to 5% leniency. But overall, you can expect UGas to go up like 60% over that same period of time. Like I said, I would not buy here. I just wanted to bring it up to everyone's attention because, like I said, one, we haven't talked about natural gas in a while, and two, it's just getting near that time of year. I mean, natural gas is, pretty much on super, super lows right now, and I think it's on crazy sale. I mean, if you're the hopeful that thinks it's going to retest $3, then you're talking even bigger gains on UGas. You're talking closer to 100% return at that point. So buyer beware, of course, when it comes to these 3X ETNs and ETFs, but you definitely have some potential there. The one we used to trade a lot and talk about a lot here was DGAS over the last probably 8 months. It's funny because a lot of people were giving me shit whenever I was saying around, I think it was around the 70s, we were talking about. It wasn't in December. It was somewhere, it might have been when it was in the 80s, 90s. Either way, somewhere close to like $70 to $100. I was saying I would not be surprised to see UGas or DGAS go to 120 to 150. There were some people on YouTube, if you go look at the comments, saying that was stupid, but obviously that is not. DGAS has jumped up over $200 multiple times, so my 150 was very conservative, to say the least. And that was just back in spring, if I remember right, somewhere around like March or April. So, food for thought. Definitely you can play DGAS and UGAS, more or less longer term, couple month investments. Everyone talks about time decay. Time decay really only matters if you plan on holding this bullshit for longer than like a year. I don't know anyone in the right mind who would plan on holding these for longer than a year. These are something that I would try to swing trade maybe for a few weeks, month or two max, get in and out, make a quick 20 to 60% profit, and move on. But again, that's just my take on it. So just buyer beware, of course. But then we got oil. Oil has kind of been range bound right in that $54 to $55, $58 range for a while. We finally broke under 54. You can see oil's going to try to retest 54 like clockwork. I was talking about this earlier when oil was up about 17 cents while I was on mute on that previous stream. But I look for oil to retest 54 tomorrow. Right at 54 is where I would consider shorting it. I don't want to look at the 4 hour. I want to look at the 1 hour. I look for oil, like I said, to come up here, fill the gap. Maybe it wasn't the 1 hour. Was it the 1 day? Let's see. I think it was the 1 day. Yeah, I want to see it try to, actually it's a little bit higher than 54. About 54.50. I want to see it fill this gap to the EMA, and then I would short it at that point, and then short it down to $50. Longer term, oil, I think, is going back to 50. Probably within the next month or two, but maybe even sooner, maybe within the next couple weeks, unless if we get something going on with OPEC, but they're not really showing signs of doing anything. They tend to really kind of kick in once oil goes under 50, so we'll see what happens, but overall bearish on oil. Look for it to get rejected between $54, $55 and continue downward, that downward trend, maybe even test $50 here within the coming weeks, so... So yeah, That's just kind of what I'm seeing as of now. And then with the overall broader market, price action is sketchy, to say the least. At first, I thought we were going to have something similar to what happened in May and June, but it's starting to look a lot more similar to what was going on at the end of last year. Am I saying that I think we're going to have a repeat of what happened at the end of last year? Not necessarily. I'm a little bit more hopeful than I was back then. But we could have a lot of room to the downside if we do. We're talking roughly 25 to 2600 on the S&P 500. So you're talking a pretty big correction at that point. But yeah, it's just, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Max Payne's right around 2750. Once again, I think if anything, we might end up forming a new head and shoulder pattern. Then we might roll over into a quote-unquote correction. But, I mean, it's all up in there, of course. If anyone could truly predict that, then we'd be billionaires, right? How's it going, Scott? Going live during market hours. So, what the plan is, actually, so for anyone that doesn't know, we just had a kid literally 2 weeks ago today. And I hit my 1 year at my job this Wednesday. So, I'm going to be taking all of September off. And with that, with me being able to trade futures with my actual money now, I will try to be doing quite a few live stock market streams, both during market hours and after market hours. Even whenever I start my job back up in October, I'll still be doing live stock market streams, but it'll be more so kind of futures related, since it'll be after hours, of course. I'll still break down stocks and everything for everyone, but those evening ones will be kind of primarily for the futures market, of course. But yes, at least during September at the minimum, we'll be doing quite a few stock market streams. My goal is to do one a day, at least for a couple hours for you guys. Just depends. I know the first week's going to be kind of iffy because my family's coming to town for the whole first week of September, but I'm still going to do live stock market streams during that week. That's not going to stop me. They might just not be the whole day. It might just be an hour in the morning, 2 hours in the morning, something in the afternoon. Just depends. But yes, I will be doing live stock market streams, and then once I go back to work, I'll still be doing them in the evening as well, and I'll be trying to do them as frequently as possible. And our Sunday stock watch, instead of having our Sunday stock watch, it's going to be more so, we'll still have the Sunday stock watch, but I'll actually be trading, and we'll do kind of live futures trading starting Sunday nights as well. That will be the longest stream probably. It'll probably be a few hours. I'll probably start it up around 4:45 Central Time, 5:45 Eastern PM, of course. And then once the market goes live, we'll go full on into futures trading mode at that point. So hopefully it clears it up a little bit. It'll probably change here and there. It just depends on life, of course. But yes, I will be doing live stock market streams as frequently as I can. So, market is taking its sweet time coming down to where I want it to. Did we actually hit? No, we did not hit 28.75. We got very close multiple times, but we did not still hit it. I look for us to come back down to the EMA here in the next few minutes. If we bounce off the EMA here, then it may be a good time to buy. But as you can see, we did this a little bit ago, came around it, and then we came back below it and came even lower. I look for, honestly, the same thing to happen here. RSI is already up to 57.5, 59 now. Not to say that that's high necessarily, but it's going up relatively quickly on the minute chart. And I look for us to pull back down here in the next few minutes. But like I said, if we bounce off the EMA here, which I believe is the 12. Yeah, 12 EMA is what I have pulled up here. If we bounce off of that and we come up higher, it might be a good time to buy. But I don't think that's going to happen. But as for the overall market, what do I think necessarily is going to happen tomorrow? Honestly, tomorrow's a wild card. We could go red, we could go green. I'm leaning more towards green. I would not be surprised overnight if we continue to do a little bit of selling. You can see I always go by the 1 hour chart. RSI, I'm not too worried about really. We could go up, could go down, but my MACD, the MACD is showing that we could go into a little bit of selling overnight. We could go down about 1/4 to 0.5%, but then I would look for us to rally after that. Unless if we have something come out, of course, and then we go into full-on sell-off mode. But I see us going down roughly 1/4% overall overnight, and then going higher tomorrow. That's just kind of what I'm thinking. The 1 hour chart has never led me wrong, so that's just kind of what I see as of now. But we'll see how it plays out overnight tonight. Any thoughts on collecting dividends? Like dividend investing, I mean, I like dividend investing. I was kind of explaining dividends and whatnot to my fiance a little bit ago. But I mean, I like dividends, especially when it comes to like times like now, actually, when the market, when we pull up the overall market here, I mean, stocks just have not returned anything to anyone over the last really almost 2 years now. Ever since we topped out in January, the markets haven't really returned anything to anyone. If you're doing like long-term Roth IRA, 401k investing, I mean, this is not really a great time. I mean, the market's returned about 1 to 2%, I think, over the last year and a half. So, and I honestly look for that to continue to happen. We might even see a negative return this year on those Roth IRAs, 401ks, that kind of thing, whatever you have at your job. I like dividends in this type of market because it's at least kind of a quote-unquote safety net. Not like a true safety net at the end of the day, but I mean it's a safety net where, say you're in something like Coca-Cola. What is that, KO? Coca-Cola, you're talking about a 40-cent dividend per share. I don't know what the exact percentage yield or whatever is, but it's guaranteed essentially. Like, you know, Coca-Cola is not going to give up their dividend like anytime soon. Another one would be like Nike, if I remember right. Yeah, Nike has a good one. Apple has a decent one as well. Pretty good. Another one is, I think, does Starbucks have one yet? Yeah, Starbucks has one. Starbucks is another one. And I mean, when you're looking at these, look for good quality stocks. I think, honestly, I was telling my fiance this. I was like, we might put a couple $1,000s at some point into Starbucks. I would not here, just because it's way too high for my liking. You can see heavily overbought currently. I would like to get this in the 80s, maybe even 70s. But I think Starbucks is an amazing buy for the long term. My price target long term is $200. That I'm talking way long term, probably like 5 years from now. But I mean, at this rate, who knows? The stock's up like 86%. I don't know if that's year to date or in the last year, but it's up like 80%, 80 to 90% over the last year, essentially. So, plus, I mean, good dividend. And I look for them possibly to raise the dividend at some point. So, good company, still up and coming, just continuing to grow. I look for them maybe, I don't know if they're in India yet, but if they expand over to India, I think they're going to tap a whole nother market. And I mean, it's just the revenue is just going to keep growing. I mean, I think it's a good company long term. Plus, I mean, I didn't even know this until today. They're doing a bunch of good things for veterans. They've hired over 25,000 veterans now. Their goal is to hire over 5,000 a year and continue to grow that. So I didn't used to even like Starbucks as a company, but just after hearing that kind of stuff, could it be for publicity? Sure. But I mean, if you're doing anything for veterans and you just got a good track record like Starbucks has, then I definitely want to invest money with you. And that's the thing. When it comes to investing, for me, I have to like the companies I invest in. That's why I don't invest in Apple. I mean, I have Apple products, Apple Watch, Apple phone, but I just don't like Apple as a company. I like Tim Cook, but I just don't care for Apple that much as a actual investment. But as for actual, if you're specifically referring to like dividend investing, yes, I definitely like dividend investing. You could also look at REITs. I don't care for REITs as much. If you're going to get into REITs, I would suggest actually going to something like a Cardone Capital, maybe something of that sorts, where you also get the cash flow, the tax benefits, all that stuff. REITs don't give you really any kind of tax benefit at all. I kind of like more of the private thing when it comes to real estate dividends and all that good stuff. Because look at something like AG&C. I mean, AG&C's problem is they offer too big of a dividend. I mean, did they cut it yet? Actually, so it's down to 16 cents now. But sometimes companies offering too big of a dividend is their ultimate downfall at the end of the day. So AG&C looks to be on sale here. This one pays monthly too, by the way. Very good dividend still for overall. I mean, you're talking 16 cents on a $15 stock. So that's a very good dividend monthly, but buyer beware. Continues to go down. It is oversold currently. That's another one. One that I kind of like too, that pays monthly is SPHD. This one follows S&P 500 as well. Not 100%. I thought this one had a monthly dividend as well. Maybe they took it out. But either way, there's tons of them out there. I think VOO doesn't offer a dividend, but if you're looking for just something to long-term invest in, buy and hold forever, VOO follows the S&P 500 pretty much as SPY does, which SPY I believe has a quarterly one. So just a lot of homework if you're looking to do dividend investing, but I think it's definitely a good strategy, especially in a sideways market, because then at least you can depend on, hey, I'm going to at least at the minimum, even if the market goes to shit, I'm going to at least collect a 7% dividend per year, a 6%, even a 3%. I mean, just something that's going to be bringing, anything's better than bonds at the end of the day. Never go to bonds. In my opinion, bonds are just terrible. I mean, you're going to end up losing money on bonds after inflation, but overall, I like dividends, to sum up a long answer. But let's go back over to MES really quickly, see where we're at. So it looks like, man, I missed a lot. Let's see, did we even pull back? We haven't really pulled back yet. Honestly, if this goes up to 2880, which it looks like it's going to, I might be getting ready to short it on my paper trading account. So I will get my short set up. I'm going to watch it closely. This is where I wish I was with my real money, because I'd be actually making money here, because I know this thing's going to go up to 2880 now. I'm going to short it right around 2880, and it's probably going to come back down to 2875. It's not going to be a huge profit. I mean, you're talking, what, $25, but I mean, money's money at the end of the day. If you don't love just making, if you won't scrap for $25, you don't deserve to scrap with the big bucks of /ES, where you're talking $12.50 per move. So I don't know why I got rejected so soon. Might be having a little fake out here. We'll see what happens here in the next 2 or 3 minutes. Ever watch Dr. Dividend? I've heard of him, or like, I've heard of Dr. Dividend, but I have not actually watched it. I'm not going to lie. One guy I did watch, I forget his name. He's like an Asian guy, if I remember right. He talks about like Robinhood dividend investing. I forget his name off the top of my head. It's been a while since I watched him, but he has some really good videos about dividend investing too. You might even know him, Scott, but he's got some good videos too. Which, by the way, if you're going into more of like a dividend style investing, go with Robinhood or M1 Finance. Honestly, of the two, I kind of like M1 Finance. I will do a video about M1 Finance here in the near future. I don't have any money in M1 Finance right now. I do have an account, but I will be funding it here before long with more of like longer term dividend investing. Yeah, Bruce Wayne. Yeah, that I think that's him. Here we go. Come on. Plus, I want to see us go oversold first. But M1 Finance, Robinhood, those are the two platforms that I would definitely use for like dividend, longer term investing. Don't have to deal with the commissions, all that BS. But what I like about M1 Finance more than Robinhood, M1 Finance, you can actually like buy, say you wanted to go into a higher price stock, say like Amazon or something. I know we're talking about dividends here, but I mean, you can buy like a tenth of a stock of Amazon. Like, you don't have to buy a whole share of, say, VOO or SPY or Apple. You could like literally say, these are all, you could just get your list of dividend paying stocks that you want. Say you want some SPY, VOO, stuff that kind of follows overall market. But then you want to throw in some Apple, some Nike, some Coca-Cola, Starbucks. Say you want to throw in ones like those that are higher yield dividend paying stocks. You could literally, if say you only got $5,000 or $1,000 to start out investing with, you could say, okay, well, I only want to buy maybe a tenth of Apple, and I might only want to buy half a share or a share and a half of Starbucks. You could just play it out till you find the numbers that you like, and I like that, honestly. Versus Robinhood, where you have to have the money. If you've got plenty of money, then I mean, I guess you could just stick with Robinhood if you're starting with like 10, 20, 50 grand, whatever. But I know a lot of us here, when we're starting out investing, we're starting with like $1,000, $500, even $100. So for the biggest bang for your buck, to get exposure to all these different stocks, I like M1 Finance. So if you're watching or you see this after it uploads, if you want me to do that video on the M1 Finance ASAP, let me know either in the chat or in the comments after this uploads, and give me a thumbs up on this video. That way I'll know that you guys want that video. So I hope I did not miss out on a short opportunity here. MACD is starting to wear off. It might just be that we're pulling back to this EMA. That's what I'm thinking it's going to be. We're going to pull back to 2878, 2878.50. We're going to pull back somewhere in this range. Probably try to push up to 2880 again. If we do that, then I will short there. But right now, I'm kind of iffy on what I want to do. I do not want to buy here. We've gone into a little stretch of buying here. So say, for example, you bought in right around 2876 and you sold at 2879. We'll just say 2879.25. So that's a 3.25 move. So you're talking 3 times 5 plus 1.25 from that quarter-cent move. You're talking a 16.25 profit after Tastyworks fees and commissions, which is like 137, something like that. You're talking, say, let's just round down, say 1450. 1450 divided by a 695. You're talking a 2% return, which isn't like great, I guess, but I mean, you're talking over a period of 15 minutes. So in 15 minutes, you made like $15 per minute. So you just got to keep everything in perspective, especially when you're trading in the evening, because evenings are slower. You're only going to get like 3 to 5 point moves a lot of times, sometimes a 10-point move. But the biggest action tends to happen after midnight, from about midnight to 3 a.m. And then from about, and I'm talking Central, U.S. Central Time, just so everyone's clear. I live in Dallas, Texas, so it's all Central Time whenever I'm talking about time. But from around midnight to 3 a.m. is when we seem to have biggest moves in futures. And then usually around, sometimes as early as 5, but usually between 6 and 7 a.m. is when we have our next big move, either to the up or down side. So I think we're getting ready to go up a little bit here again. I still got my short ready to be placed. I might hop in it at 2880, but I want to see if it gets rejected. We might not even hit 2880. It might be 2879.75, but we shall see what happens here. I want to get a look at the broader picture here. So overall, we just shot up. Pull up our 1 hour chart as well. 1 hour chart is still showing signs that the buy-in wants to kind of wear off. Starting to cross on the DMI, which I'm still learning how to use this DMI, but usually when it crosses like this is when we get ready to start seeing some selling. So I definitely think on my paper trading account I will be getting ready to short. I just would love to see us get close to that 2880 mark, but it might not happen. Okay, let's see if we can go up a little bit here. So this price action from what I've seen previously is when we have price action like this, where Mike, I don't know if Mike's watching right now, Mike B, he was describing this kind of as pitching. I forget how he described it perfectly, kind of like where you're playing around with the market. Oh man, I forget it now off the top of my head. I'm so tired. But you kind of have this back and forth, kind of like a fake out, so to speak. And this is when usually you get ready to have some sort of move, be it either to the upside or to the downside. Some type of move is getting ready to take place, and I feel like it's getting ready to be to the downside. Especially our DMI is like stupid extended right now. I am going to go ahead and short here. I will keep it on a tight leash. I just want to get some confirmation first. Let's see. I'll keep it on a tight leash. What I'll probably do is I'll probably go ahead and get in here right around 28.79, and then I'll put a stop loss of 29.80. Probably not even 29.80, probably 29.85. So about a 1.5 point move of risk, which would be what, $7 roughly, or like $7.50 of risk versus a downward move of at least 5 points, so 25 points. So that's about a 3-to-1 ratio. So I kind of like it. Let's see what we get here. Hovering right at that EMA too. And that's another thing that I'm wanting. You can never be too patient. I'd rather, that's one thing I've learned with just doing like the paper trading of the futures, is like you can just never be too patient. You can be too quick and end up burning yourself, but you can never be too, I would rather miss out on an opportunity or allow myself to get in at a better price than buy too early and then have to hold for a little bit, have to hold longer than I wanted to, when I could have easily got in at a better price, write it down, sell a little bit earlier, get the profit, move on to the next trade. So I'm considering buying right around 28.79 to 28.79.50, but I would like to kind of see what plays out in between this 28.78 to 28.80 range. It's only a 1 to 2 point difference, but 1 to 2 points, that's $5 to $10 profit loss. So you have to keep that in perspective, especially when it comes to your risk management of how many points, how many dollars are you willing to put on the table when it comes to your risk. Just keep that in mind. So I'm probably still getting ready to short here. It's just taking me forever to make the move. What's probably getting ready to happen, that's what I was getting ready to say. It's probably getting ready to happen is we're probably getting ready to drop a solid point here. And here comes the volume. A little bit of volume coming in. We're going to come back up and so with this next candle, I will go ahead. I'm going to hop in a short here at, well, I was. Okay. So yeah, 28.78.50. I'm probably going to hop in. And then, so I missed out by a solid point on where I wanted to get in, but sometimes you just give what the market gives you. So I'm gonna wait just a second. This is probably getting boring, just watching me wait. But see, again, I'd rather miss out on an opportunity than get in where I don't think it's a good time to get in. So, see where. And hopefully, also, the stream is still doing all right. Hopefully, we have some audio. It sounds like we do, but hopefully, there's no audio issues. Unlike when I first recorded this, I was muted the whole time, and I was actually going on a couple rants in that video, in that stream. But come on, market, give me a move. So the market's still only down about 5 points currently. Like I said, I look for the market overall to go down roughly 10 points, 10 to 15 points overall tonight. Just because, again, the 1 hour chart has never led us wrong. You can see 1 hour chart starting to show signs of weakening in the selling. RSI, again, could go either way. We have plenty of room to the downside to move. I'm not saying that I think we're going to come all the way back down here necessarily, but I do think there's a little bit of room to the downside, more so than up over the next few hours. So we shall see what happens. Any thoughts on Grand Theft Auto 5. I don't really play video games too much. I used to play a lot whenever I was younger, but only thing I really play much anymore is like Madden, kind of here and there, because obviously football is like this big thing in Texas, and I love football too. But really, other than Madden and NHL, man, I can tell I missed out on a little opportunity here. Oh well. Sometimes you just miss out. My target sell, by the way, was going to be 28.74.50, which wouldn't have been a huge profit. It would have been about 5 points, so $25. But, oh well. We'll see. I might still be able to enter here, but we'll see what happens. Oh, but back to like your question. Yeah, I don't really play video games too much. I played Grand Theft Auto Vice City, if that says anything about how long it's been since I played those games. But yeah, other than that, I didn't really play them too often. So I'm gonna go back over. Okay, here we go. Damn, that happened quick. I think my data on here, is this delayed? Let's see, is this set? No, this is up to date. Let me see what mine's showing on my phone too. Yeah, no, that's up to date. Okay. So we will stick with... Stick with that. Should have hit my trigger on 28.78.50. Man, the evening volume sucks. Just takes forever for a move to decide to happen. And then you kind of just got to wait it out. So if you got in at the 28.79.25 area, you would be up again, not a lot. You'd be up, what, about $5 right now, based on where it's currently at. So I'm going to go ahead and hop in. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead. Something's just telling me not to get in right now, because I feel like we could easily go up. So I'm just going to go ahead and hop in here, and again have a short leash on it. So we're in a short right at 28.7850. I'm going to have, again, a short leash. I'm going to cut the loss at 28.8050 more than likely. Yeah, probably 28.8050 is where I will cut the loss if need be. So that's what, about a $10 loss. And then my target sell is a minimum, bare minimum of 28.75. So I mean, not a huge profit there. You're risking 2 points to a roughly 3.5-4 point move. My true target sells 28.7450. Just a short little trade, 4 points, $20. Essentially like a 2-to-1 ratio with that trade. But we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, so I mean, like I said, overall for the market, I look for some selling overnight, not like heavy or anything like that, unless if we have some kind of news come out of China or something that we're not predicting, so to speak. But again, just the MACD overall, it could go either way. We could go into some like crazy buying and go over 2,900. I mean, nothing would surprise me at this market at this point. But the 1 hour MACD and the RSI tend to tell the story. And I mean, we had a good little bit of buying going on today. Wouldn't be surprised to see the market go down 1/4 to 0.5%, and then end up going green by open or something crazy like that. So we'll keep an eye on it and see what happens. But again, we got in a short at 28.7850. Target sell of, at the minimum, 28.75. That's not a huge profit. Ideally, I would like 28.7450. And then if it continues to sell, then I would definitely get rid of it at 28.70. So that would be a 8.5 point move. So 8 times 5 is 40, plus that half point move would give us another 250. So after quote unquote fees and commissions of Tastyworks, which are around like 150, you're talking about $40 to $41 of profit divided by your investment of $695 is about a 5 to 6% return. So that's a good little return there if it plays out in our favor. And like I said, we would sell right around 28.80 essentially is where we would cut the loss. So about a 2.2 to 4 point. So essentially like a 2-to-1 ratio roughly. But just not a lot going on right now. But like I said, that's kind of what I expect overnight, is for us to drop a little bit and then possibly go green overnight at some point, like early morning overnight. But we'll kind of see what happens. But hopefully you guys did enjoy the stream. Hopefully if you have any questions or anything like that, like I said, feel free to drop them in the comments after this video uploads. And let me know in the comments also after this video uploads how trading the micro E-mini futures has been for you so far. Which ones do you like to trade the most? S&P 500, Dow Jones, or any of them? Just let me know what you trade, how you've been doing so far since they came out, and what you like the most about the micro E-mini futures. Let me know down in the comments below once this video uploads. And if you have any questions, like I said, you can reach out to me in the Discord group chat that we have. Like I said, it's totally free. Don't charge for anything associated with this channel. It's down in the description box to be able to join. And then lastly, of course, if you're new, definitely click the subscribe button below. We'd love to add you to this awesome community of like-minded people looking to achieve that financial freedom this year, and we're almost to 700. So hopefully we can hit that by the end of the month. That would be awesome. But until next time, guys, keep on going out there, making your profits, covering your profits, and achieving your financial freedom this year. And I'll see you guys in the next live stream, which hopefully will be very soon. Take it easy, guys.